evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Shain Alia. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Government has strong plans to meet the dollar issue, Cabinet spokesman stresses. Seeking a bailout from the IMF is the only option, SLMC leader tells Parliament. News in detail. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Ramesh Patrina said that the issue of foreign exchange shortage could be met soon and no opportunity will be made to create any food shortage in the country. Minister Patrina made this comment replying to a question raised by a journalist at the weekly Cabinet media briefing took place this morning.
The question of the food crisis, a lot of importers are still complaining that they are not able to get the dollars they require to finance any of these imports. So if you are not able to release dollars for some of the essentials, aren't you going to head for a bigger crisis?
We have been encountering this foreign currency issue for some time. Firstly, because we lost that income from the tourism industry. Annually, we used to get about $4 billion US. So for consecutive years, 2020 and 2021, we have lost that income, which is coming up to about 7 to 8 billion US. Yes, we are facing a foreign currency issue, but with the we are hopeful that we should be able to revamp the situation. The pressure would be eased off in weeks to come because we have settled we've paid the due loan, and also we are getting assistance from the other quarters. Currency swaps are in place, so we should be able to we keep our fingers crossed that hopefully things would be better in time to come, and we should be able to provide that necessary facilities to the importers in time to come.
Parliament yesterday passed regulations that giving powers to a Commission General to seize food stocks, confiscate warehouses and vehicles used in their transport following the invoking of an emergency. The emergency was passed convincingly with 132 legislators voting for it against 51 in the 225-member legislature where the government has a two-third majority. Sri Lanka Parliament yesterday passed the emergency laws promulgated by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on food supplies by 81 majority votes. Before the law was passed, 29,000 metric tons of sugar in several warehouses were seized. The regulations were issued by Gazette and had to be passed by Parliament within 14 days. The opposition argued that there was no necessity for emergency as provisions were already in several existing laws to impose price controls and find unregistered food stocks.
අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා විසින් අගෝස්තු මත 30 වෙනි දින මහජන ආරක්ෂක පනතේ යටතේ හදිසි නීතිය ගැසට් කිරීමට කටයුතු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඔබතුමා දන්නවා ගරු කතානායකතුමනි අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා හදිසි නීතිය ගැසට් කරලා දින 14ක් ඇතුළත අපි මේක පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සම්මත කරන්න ඕනේ. අපිට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පුළුවන් මේ පනත අද අවශ්‍ය නම් මේ පනතේ තියෙන යම් යම් අඩුපාඩුකම් තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා ඉවත් කරන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේකට සංශෝධන ගෙනෙන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට අයිතිය තියෙනවා. ජනාධිපතිතුමාට බලය තියෙන්නේ දින 14යි. දින 14කට පස්සේ මේකේ බලය තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට. පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අද මේක සම්මත කරාට පස්සේ තමයි ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේක නීතියක් බවට පත්වන්නේ. මේ රටේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරන මහජන නියෝජිතව හිතනවා නම් මේ හදිසි නීති අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියලා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ පනත අපිට සම්මත නොකර ඉන්න පුළුවන්.
Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage stressed that traders were hoarding sugar and rice and there was no food shortage in the country. However, most of the opposition legislators blame the government's economic policy, including money printing, for the current crisis.
There is no any shortage in this country. There is no any food shortages. අපේ රටේ කිසිදු ආහාර හිඟයක් නැහැ. අපේ රටේ කිසිදු ආහාර හිඟයක් නැහැ. මෙතන තියෙන ආහාර හිඟයක් නෙවෙයි ආහාර මාෆියාවක්. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ මේක පටල ගන්න එපා වචන දෙක. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ ආහාර හිඟයක් නොව මෙතන තියෙන්නේ ආහාර මාෆියාවක්. ඒ නිසා මේ ආහාර මාෆියාව පාලනය කර ගැනීම සඳහා තමයි අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා මේ ගැසට් නිවේදනය නිකුත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
We all know how the state of emergency is brought into operation. You have to bring part 2 of the Public Security Ordinance into operation. Section 2 of the PSO says that. So, all these days, we have had the practice, the salutary practice of one gazette. By one gazette, the President promulgates a state of emergency by bringing into operation part 2 of the Public Security Ordinance. Full stop. That's it. You announce to the country that you have brought the state of emergency into operation. But that is not how this gazette reads. The order made by the President here is very different to how it has been done in this country hitherto. So naturally a suspicion arises as to why a state of emergency was brought into operation in this insidious way. It's clouded. People are not told that the country is under emergency.
Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
ෆයිබර් සමගින් බලකැන් වෙන තැන ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. අධ්‍යාපනයට බාධා ප්‍රමාද නැති අන්තර්ජාලය ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. පින්තූරවල පැහැදිලි බවේ උපරිමය ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. වේගයට අධිවේගී අධිබලය. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වේගවත්ම සහ පුදුම ප්‍රීමියම් ෆයිබර් අන්තර්ජාලය SLT Mobitel Fiber. දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය.
Welcome back after the break. JVP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake, who joined the debate, said that the government's decision of imposing the essential laws at this moment was not necessary. The leftist leader pointed out that all the measures so far the government has taken on essential commodities could be taken without having the emergency laws.
මේ ගහලා තියෙන මේ කොටස තමයි. හැබැයි බලය අපි දෙනවා. මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අද එතුමා අරගෙන තියෙනවා දින 10කට කලින් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් අහනවා ගත්තට කමක් නැද්ද කියලා. ඒකට මේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. මම දැක්ක මහින්දානන්ද අලුත්ගමගේ කිව්වා මේක තාම ගත්තේ නැහැ. අරන් තියෙන්නේ. පහුගිය අගෝස්තු මාසේ 30 වෙනිදා මේ බලය ගත්තා. අද ඇවිල්ලා අහලා තියෙනවා තව මාසයකට මම ගත්තට කමක් නැද්ද කියලා. උත්තර මේ අහලා තියෙනවා. පාරිභෝගිකයන් ආරක්ෂා කර ගැනීම වෙනුවෙන් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට තමුන්නාන්සලා නීතියක් ගේන්න සූදානම් නම් ඒ නීතියට අපි සහාය දෙන්න ලෑස්ති. හැබැයි පාරිභෝගිකයන් ආරක්ෂා කර ගැනීම මුවාවෙන් මොකද දැනට අත්‍යවශ්‍යව බවට පත් කරලා තිබෙන්නේ 1979 අංක 61 දරන පනතෙන් සිල්ලර සහ මේ උපරිම මිල තීරණය කරලා තිබෙන්නේ පාරිභෝගික පනතෙන් වැටලීම් කරලා තින්නේ පාරිභෝගික පනතෙන් එන මොකද හදිසි නීතියෙන් කරේ හදිසි නීතියෙන් කරේ තමන්ගේ අතර බලය ගත්තු එක ඇයි මේ සඳහා මේ බලය අවශ්‍ය නේ දැනට තමුන්නාසලා ගත්තු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග වලට ඒ බලය අවශ්‍ය නේ
Sri Lankan Muslim Congress leader parliamentarian Rauf Hakim suggested that government should stop printing money as it is directly affecting the inflation. Addressing the parliament yesterday, he suggested that the government must ask for a bailout from the IMF.
This is nothing but a very surreptitious attempt to impose a dictatorial and draconian method of controlling public dissent in the country. And this is nothing but an effort to do so. And therefore, it is our wish that this type of short-term method should be avoided and you must resort to a permanent solution. Permanent solution is to go to the lender of last resort, to seek the IMF assistance, to get out of the
Honourable Member, please wind up.
balance of payment crisis that you have got into. The serious situation has developed, so your monetary policies had to change. You need to stop printing money to control this problem, and then instead of taking the country further into problem by increasing inflation by printing money, you have to resort to the lender of last resort, that is nothing but to ask the IMF for the bailout. And that is the only solution to control this problem and not to resort to such draconian methods.
Taking lessons from the ongoing pandemic and emphasizing a once-in-a-century opportunity, countries of WHO's Southeast Asia region today adopted a ministerial declaration resolving to strengthen health system resilience to ensure health security. The 74th Regional Committee meeting of WHO's Southeast Asia region began yesterday with health leaders calling for greater commitment to build resilient health systems and to achieve universal health coverage. The 5-day virtual session, attended by health ministers and senior health officials of the member countries of the region, UN agencies, partners, donors and civil society representatives, will deliberate on strengthening public health emergency preparedness and response and accelerating progress for prevention and control of non-communicable diseases, among other health issues. The ministerial roundtable was held yesterday on the topic of building back better the essential health services hit by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, with the aim to achieve universal health coverage.
Coordinated and guided by the Sri Lanka Strategic Preparedness and Response Plan, at the same time, we were able to sustain the delivery of essential health services through innovative approaches. Medicine delivery through postal services, outdoor mobile clinics in lockdown areas, reorientation of family planning service, mental health, drugs delivery and services at the community level, among others. For Sri Lanka, saving lives and protecting our population is our highest priority. We highly appreciate your tireless efforts for fair and equitable access to vaccines through the COVAX facility.
Stay tuned for stock updates.
ෆයිබර් සමගින් බලකැන්වෙන තැන ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. අධ්‍යාපනයට බාධා ප්‍රමාද නැති අන්තර්ජාලය ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. පින්තූරවල පැහැදිලි බවේ උපරිමය ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. වේගයට අධිවේගී අධිබලය. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්ම ප්‍රීමියම් ෆයිබර් අන්තර්ජාලය SLT Mobitel Fiber. දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The share price index dropped by 135.14 points to close at 9,092.74, and the S&P SL20 dropped by 34.72 points to close at 3,417.69. The turnover was 8.6 billion rupees and over 504 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow at State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.
State of Business.